Hi, welcome in the beta episode about a series of poorly edited videos with a terrible English, cause I just want to throw some words about Ark Knight to maybe light up my moods. This one is gonna be pretty fast and very poor in editing, cause it's the 1st June so I'm typing this, and so it releases very soon. Happy Pride Month by the way, okay, check in the chat. May your months be better than mine. So, what to expect? Cause IS2 is a pretty old game mode, alpha of its mat are like IS1, it's pretty bland. It was obviously never balanced on the scaling system. We know from IS3, most difficulty are just stats like res, HP, more res, attack speed, etc. etc. And finally, there are no way they get rid of Curse Relic. Is the scaling system gonna work with powerful Curse Relic? Because they're on average they're like 30% more attack, HP and defense. And despite being IS5 where it's balanced on relics and you're broken, people are complaining about some relics. So, will it works? I tried to machine translate subtitles of live stream, so some stuff might be slightly incorrect, but based on my understanding, what do we know so far? Like it was in IS3, there's 17 difficulty. Easy mode, like it was when you start with Silent Squad, and D0 to D15. Based on what difficulty you already beaten, before it's gonna be activated, you're gonna get D3 with easy mode, D6 with normal, and D9 with hard. So you're gonna spend a bit less time to grind the levels. The rate is probably gonna change, because we saw that at D15 they're 1.5 condole. So for new players it's gonna be a bit easier to farm reward than just 1.2 times for hard mode. At D6 there will be a new mechanic that presumably is gonna make game harder, but give you a good reward if used well or something. It's apparently about to challenge a choice. So maybe it's kind of like IS3 D16, where they did an effect where you play on the debuff and you can buff your operator to gain DA and in your percentage of res and defense. I think it's how it worked. I don't play much IS3. So possibly some double-edged gimmick. At D10, it was something like increasing ending events. So I assume it's to make ending encounters having more chance in their pool to appear, because we all know how annoying hunting specific ending in IS2 can be sometimes. So technically the debuff is, I guess, you have less chance to get some more blend ends, etc. But it's probably more a buff for us. At difficulty 11, certain combo of hallucination will do additional effect. So assumably getting survivalist or imaginate together will get, I don't know, make enemies also move faster, I don't know. One of the names shown get machine translated as allergy. Maybe it's something like IS4 boss key effect where you deal low damage next to you, but higher too far away, something like this. At D13, Curse Relic are buffed, but can be nerfed in certain conditions. I don't think we know yet if it's like they are nerfed and they become weaker than they were before, like how it is now. So instead of be like 60%, they turn to 20%, or they turn back to 40%. I don't think we know either of the condition, but maybe it's like this type of thing where you need to beat a certain amount of combats, or do something related to the debuff. At D14, for 20 seconds after spawn, elites and boss enemies will get 50% DF and 30 attack. So basically IS3 D18. This one might be a big difficulty spike on settlement, especially ending 2. Maybe. And at D15 we get a negative and positive relic when under flow 4. Which would mean that you can 2 curse relic, right? Because otherwise would they be buffered at D13 if you only get it now? Which means you can get 2 buff relics that very probably scale on each other. This might go pretty high in stats. especially since that buff. Non-mentioned diff. I assume D9 will be hard mode, like how it was. So you start with a curse relic and a positive relic, like it was hard mode before, because it's the one you unlock when you beat it hard mode. I definitely could see a difficulty increasing the nervous injury we receive, like IS3 and IS5, or increase the stun duration. And I don't think they mentioned outside the speak. The card you get that usually doesn't matter, to be honest, might actually matter because of the diff increase, but also they have blood on them, just like the curse relic that we know will be buff. So will be double-edged and have a bad effect too, like the ones that reduce any movement speed will increase their attack or defense and rate, like the IS4 effect. Or will they be positively buff or nerfed, like they have less movement speed, or they're even more slower? Because one of the things with the other is that you get a section where, based on meta progression, you get some positive effect that you unlock by playing in higher difficulty. But I assume it's not gonna be a thing on this one. Now, let's look at boss stats. Most Beast is gonna be the last, cause it's a bit different. I try to divide my theory in 3 parts. First part is scaling system is gonna be on based on IS3 D15. The levels are gonna be like IS3, but a bit nerfed, because it's not made for this. Additionally, it's cause it's more recent, so I put a bit. It's basically a mix between IS5 and IS3. Then for the curse relic, since we don't know how much it's gonna be buff, I just pick a thing, I increase by 50% their effect. So instead of 30, it's gonna be 45. And in case if you don't know, Victoria Crown boss effects scale on each other, so it get very high on bosses. Then we have the D14 effect, and then since I don't know either or how hallucination are gonna be buff and effect on each other, I just put another 15%, so it's 15 instead of 10. But it's not gonna matter, we're not gonna talk much about it. Then it's assuming it's another curse relic and their buff, so it's the same thing. And then it's trying to be a bit more fair. I pick the current stats. If it's nerfed, it come back before, but it is the stats. If it's lower, it's just gonna be an average between buffed and nerfed. Then I pick Diff 12 for of IS3. First, boss base stats. Phantom have pretty high attack. Like, of all the ending one, is the one with the most attack. Additionally, attacking faster. He's like even stronger than Fremont in terms of attack. But he's melee. He still have an ability that deal away damage. In addition of dealing nervous, so he can deal some true damage at some point. So definitely can get a very high attack. Big Sadlock. Big Sadlock, as we know, have like massive amount of HP, and all his ability are based on a small HP. So he's gonna be very tanky. We're gonna later, and then Play White. Play White has some pretty good AoE abilities, but his higher stats are like res and defense on P2, making him pretty tanky compared to other bosses. So now if we check buffed stat with the super buff relic, it starts to get a bit scary, because the stats are like D18 tier of buffing. So there is a chance that IS2 is not gonna get a D18 update, not only because it will start to be hard to find difficulty without Trizoco and added other scaling stats, but also because D14 and D15 might be more like D17 and D18, and the real D15 be like D12 or D13. Additionally, the AoE start to be very high. The scaling system, it can start to one-shot some range enemies, and with the relic, it's gonna one-shot practically everybody, and soon be able to practically feel instantly the nervous bar. So I'm gonna stay with the third part, with scaling of difficulty 12 of IS3 and the current stat of relics, because this seems pretty D15 and D18 tier of stat to me. So I assume this is like D12, D13, and this is like D15 type of stats. But why would this stat be so big? IS2 have some broken stuff, but it's still like IS3 and IS4, whereas the operator you pick is way more important than the relics, because compared to IS5 you get way less relics. The roguelite element feels more like your you pick than the actual roguelite items, lol. Or they indeed don't want to add difficulty 18, and so the difficulty got a bit squished, and D15 is for people who love IS, like the rare people who love IS3 D18. Or IS2 is so old that modern ops and IS exclusive module completely break the game mode. And so it balanced around obviously with Shadel, Yato, Module Angelina, and Mizuki, etc, etc. Like, not very long after they announced the rework, there was already a video of Playwright getting perma-levitated to death by the Angelina Arketo IS module, and we got also more source of true damage and elemental damage. Cause yes, Phantom and Playwright are not levitating immune. You might still need a certain amount of relic to do this, but it's a possibility. Additionally, Tragodia is coming with Nervous Injury at the same time, who should theoretically be able to remove a few powerful auto attack of bosses and elite enemies to give a bit more time to kill them or set up the bait or thing. Or IS2 have actually some broken stuff in its sleeve, like how during Golden Glow release it was just GG Kali Sleeper everywhere on YouTube and Twitch. For Playwright, there might be a chance that Nightingale is too much mandatory, and you might need the newest physical damage dealer for P2, 2000 3000 half stats of auto attack, which become like close to 5000 on P2. Additionally, he could like have like 4k defense, and I think even before you were not doing hard damage against him. Probably the hardest one, the stat check Big Sadlock. Can't chase it, you have to beat it the good old way, but this time with 3 times ready for finally, very possibly 7-digit HP Big Sadlock and attack and shockwave that might one-shot most of your range ops, and you're definitely not gonna fight it with regen. Then come Mospes. Mospes have a problem, to my understanding and trusting in Tommy.dev, who patched the apparently error of typing of AG as Puppet are device. But unlike a device in other IS, like Chest, Coffin, Icebreak, Rockspine, etc, etc, us doesn't scale with anything. When you fight him buffed, he just does auto attack, and enemies on the map, the device stays the same with 10k HP. So assumably, if not changes coding, in the best case scenario they just get buffed by floor scaling and get like 2 times their stat at most. Or in the worst case, you still fight a device with 10k HP, when the average enemy on the map at 24k-ish HP, and can be hardly spawn kill. So Mospes have a chance to either become a choke, or have Puppet with over 50k HP and 400-ish DPS, true damage. I'm a bit too lazy to try to get every specific stats for mob, so I just average that floor 4 and floor 5 enemies have usually 3 times their stats, and floor 6 have 4 times their stats. So since Tommy.dev are so gutted, and have a simulator in their website for IS maps, we're gonna check which mobs are affected by the 14 effects when they reach us. First, the boss. Phantom, wait long enough that you're not gonna usually fight him, he's not gonna threaten you with the effect, but it's gonna be super hard to spawn kill. Same for the casters. Casters are like turning around for so long, maybe the last one, but I think at this point you're dead or you won. Every enemy is here, go to you super fast. 21, so half 21, they're here. You're gonna have to fight them completely buffed. So how much they stat would be? I have 2k attack, close to 2k attack. Same for all of them. Like all these enemies, them, and them are gonna be fighted with over 3 times their stats. Unfortunately, it's still work in progress, so it doesn't work with boss that have summon. So enjoy this horror of me trying to remember how to fight Big Sadlock. I still fucking hate fight Big Sadlock. Sadlock opening is gonna be tough, because waiting for it to sleep before the deployment vanguard main DP can be an issue with the first trash mobs. In addition of having still really good attack. For sure, the enemies on the right and the left are gonna be buffed. Doesn't wait very long or at all, even without spinning up. People coming from the middle might get their buff ending before they reach you, so the golem might reach some range at the very least, but the golem might be a big pain in the butt, because they would have like over 3k attack. For ending 3, as I said, I don't know it's gonna work with the device, but it's not gonna be a problem for him, for the boss. They wait long enough that it's not a problem. The only enemies where they're gonna be affected are the mid-rock buddies, where they're gonna be able to reach your range ups with the buff. So they're probably gonna be like 8 times their HP and over 4 times their attack. For ending 4, Shaman are for sure gonna get the buff. Let me see, 16. 16 is they start. Up. They're here, they're here. They're here. 46. No, not 46. 46. It takes them 20 seconds around to reach blue box. So you're gonna have to fight them with the effect. So they're gonna have like over 160 effective HP and over 4k art damage explosion, without talking of the elite version. Origin Mutant are probably gonna explode melee operators with over 6k attack and possibly 4k defense. Even if they have only 28k HP, probably 21. At 41. Yeah, you would see they will be just here. You can't spawn kill them, but they're slow enough that they're not gonna reach you with the buff. Golem will have 4k attack and close to 100k HP. Waiting long enough before arrive. So, for other maps. Sarka's Desire. Sarka's Desire, I feel like it's just gonna be the same, but just they're gonna have like very big stats. But it's probably gonna work the same thing. Additionally, they're probably gonna be able to one-shot stun you if you get hit by them, but they're definitely gonna hit very hard. For Ursus Desire, for sure they're gonna reach you with the buff, and Lancer are like fast enough that they can reach you with the buff. The other are like too slow or waiting too long, but they're gonna have like pretty big stats. No drone landing seems fine. It doesn't seems to gonna be like as painful. Like, you're not gonna deploy anything here for sure, but you can just deploy like a Lemuel here and just activate this thing, and probably they're gonna all die. After spawn 9, 15, 8, so it's gonna be 18. Yeah, Raptor might be able to one shot or be too big damage to if you deploy some enemies there. I think you just play a bit retreat and it's fine. I feel like this map is not gonna be way harder. For the Red Mist, I feel like they might get enough attack to be able to kill some weak defender. Them might be a bit annoying. This guy may be a bit annoying. I think they're elite. Yeah, they're elite. They may be a bit annoying. They can be very annoying. Like, they're not waiting much. They're probably still gonna be able to reach your range ups with over free time at that. Plus the buff. Night Ritual seems kind of pain. You're not gonna want to be able to spawn kill them as you could before. Yeah, they're gonna be able to break your defense. I feel like you're not gonna tank anything on this map. Everything are gonna be able to explode your defender, I think. Biting Cold seems very annoying. Yeah, they're gonna tear apart your Vanguard. I think like most casters and them are gonna be able to get the D14 effect until reach here. So I feel like you have to burst most of the time here. For Danger Rebound, they just get more. They lose their effect around here. So basically kill them here instead of... But they're just gonna get way more art, like get way more stats. Surprise Factory. They're gonna tear apart Small Defender. I think it's gonna be fine, overall a fine map. But I think you're just gonna have to put a stronger defender here and fight most of this guy more on the bottom side. But overall I don't think it's gonna be drastically harder compared to some other maps. Absurd Trickery. I know it's like a map that is very scary in challenge mode before, but I feel like now we have like so much utility that I don't think this map is gonna be very hard now if you pick your stronger ops. Like, you can just beat the challenge mode by deploying Nest. Chest might be very hard to get though, if you don't have the Sarcasm Relic. It's gonna be hard to spawn kill them too, so they wait enough. Like, this guy wait long enough, you don't care, just have stronger casters. Plus you might just be able to put Mizuki here and shift them from afar. I think from afar you really need to kill the hold fast and be able to outrange them, because 2100 they're gonna be able to very fast kill your range ups, even faster than before. But I don't think the elites are gonna be particularly dangerous, but they probably will lose like around here. So yeah, I feel like you have to outrange and mostly kill here. It might be a bit annoying. Now let's jump to floor 4. Since floor 4 you unlock a new relic, and it will be not yet debuff, I wonder if some maps in floor 4 are gonna be way harder than floor 5. Pressing ahead. It looks kind of scary. Maybe it's gonna be hard to defend the chest. So Crusher are definitely gonna be fight with like way more HP. Like Crusher are gonna have a lot of HP and you're not gonna tank them. So I feel like it's gonna be hard to put somebody bottom lane. I'm not sure. Shrouded in Cloud seems to not have it elite. Yeah, they are not. Why is there Avengers in the data? 1050 might be a bit annoying to open, because they're gonna like probably two-shot your Vanguard. But nobody is elite, so you're not gonna fight them with Origin Slug are gonna one-shot everything. Castor are gonna be a bit dangerous. You're gonna be a bit more cautious by trying to spawn kill. Like before, you could just spawn kill them and not care much. Fireworks show. This one's kind of scary me because Rat King. I feel like Rat King can be a bit annoying. Like most of them are like you're already baiting them anyway, so maybe it's fine. It's not gonna change much outside of. But I'm a bit scared of Rat King. Unending, I think you're not gonna get the chest, like for sure, cause they're gonna have like 6 times their HP, so you need to lemon S3 ready every time, but they're always gonna be reaching you with the buff, I think. Like it's the same as before, where it's gonna be a joke if you have the Sarcasm Relic. I think Sarcasm Relic is gonna be like super strong, because all Sarcasm map seems to be scary with extra stat. To be honest, we have a bit more crowd control system, so maybe it's gonna be a bit more fine. Usually, I don't think Travel Afar is like that bad of a map, but I think this time is gonna be very hard. They're gonna hit hard your range jobs if you don't crowd control them, do a lot of damage and be super tanky. Like they're still gonna hit you like 3k, 27. Yeah, like you're gonna fight them with even more stat. I think Traveler from Far is gonna be very scary if you go too much range ups. A dance together, I think the dance together is probably gonna be like same as it was. Like maybe they're gonna be small surprise, are gonna be able to one shot stun you. It was before. You really need to have a very bad run to lose to it. I don't. Maybe this one is gonna be a bit annoying. But like you have Ines and just outrange it. You have Arketo, like you just put Arketo here and or somewhere and just don't kill it. Bob's Beer. Good luck to deploy them. They're gonna explode your vanguard, maybe even your defender. I think it's gonna be hard to get some DP at the start. You're not baiting Bomb Tail with defender anymore, I think. Even if they like lose their buff. So you need some really good sniper. And finally, Alpine Visitor. In Alpine Visitor, I feel like this one is fine. You don't really care about them. Where do they spawn? Do they spawn? Yes, I think this one is more easier, and this one is fine. Okay, I think this one is harder. But I think these guys are gonna be a bit scary. People from the left, mostly trash mobs. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I think it's gonna be this lane. So, overall, I feel like mostly enemies are gonna have long attack, so I wonder if it's gonna be like IS3 and IS5 where tanking and blocking is gonna be way harder than just shoot them from far away. I'm still skeptical if really a complete D15 system work on IS2 instead of just add a force difficulty where they would have like just an extra scaling by floor of I don't know 10%. So it's still easier than other IS, but have a little something so mobs don't feel so weak and die in 2 seconds, especially to modern ops. I feel like people who are like me and just play casually and be okay, today I want to pick Chucky, and here I want to Techno, okay, this time I want to pick a strong pick, I will take high, without caring about the run and where they're going. You're maybe gonna hate and or be disappointed by high difficulty, but to be honest, not like highest difficulty was for this type of play from the first part, considering relics are not the most important part. But I definitely think higher difficulty is gonna be for very strong modern ops. But it might gonna be pretty fun to play casually at like T12 with the new system reworks and the new gimmick we don't know about and the new hallucinations. I hope they add a bit more hallucinations and not like super rare, because it might be pretty fun to have like some new side effect. Especially if they're on map. I hope there are more side effects on maps. Alright, that's all. Hopefully I found energy to do something about the 3 other topics I want to talk about. I want to do an episode 0 about Chap 15 and an UTS change mode system. Episode 1 about IS5 that I hopefully want to do before IS6 come. And an episode about CC that I dream to talk about for the year maybe 2. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day.